Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey for the last 5 years. So thank you, Folgers. We appreciate you so very much. Also, a big thank you to Justice Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro that you just heard. He is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the Outer Realm. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre, but can do commission pieces of any type. And believe me, he does fabulous work. So it looks like we're having a little bit of difficulty tonight from what I'm seeing on the board with our Facebook. Well, apparently it's just the Outer Realm. CMH.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're having issues there, but if you are on Facebook, head on over to the United Public Radio Facebook page. Otherwise, please hit us up on one of the YouTube channels, which is where the majority of the chat room is. Anywho, so hopefully it'll get itself rectified. We'll try to work it out as we go along. So tonight we are welcoming some fellow Canadians, Gail and Mel Willis from Lucky Paranormal. They're located in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and they are the hosts of a brand new paranormal convention, which is the Lake Superior Paranormal Convention, which is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, on October the 4th to the 6th. And they've got great guest speakers. They're going to tell you all about it this evening, and they're going to talk about some of their paranormal experiences. And this is very new for us. We don't often, have the opportunity to bring on just various paranormal groups. So this should be a lot of fun. I know they've sent over a few pictures that we can look at as well. So that'll be good. So while I'm just going to try to figure out this Facebook thing. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Hello.
Strange. I know JoJo's got a lot of turbulence down in his area.
Well, I'm wondering, there's a hurricane coming in through New Orleans. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll make it. But so far, 2 of the Facebook channels are down, but we are still on Roku TV, Twitch, 3 different YouTubes, and United Public Radio YouTube channel. So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And so Bubbles, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
well, all right. I'm feeling spectacular. It's been a day, but I'm all right.
Good.
So,
good.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Yeah, okay. I had a sound issue. So I hate when I've prepped everything and then I come in and my mic is not working. When I prepped everything at 1:45.
Right.
So that pisses me off.
It's fun. Fun.
Yes, the bubbles. Yeah, it almost sounds like soap, doesn't it?
Yeah, like bubbles. Yeah, bubbly. I could just go on about that. I could come up with all kinds of little quickies for it, but that's all we would do. So without further ado, our guests have arrived.
Oh, that's great. They're here.
There we are. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
This is This is like YouTube all over again. I've been watching you ladies all afternoon.
You have? Oh, wow.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. Mine's a freaking mess.
I don't know. Mine sticks out like a sore thumb. So, people just see my hair, my red hairs. I know you from somewhere. No, you really don't.
You should have said
it's
Ariel.
The hair, right? It was the hair. I know. I'm going to show up on there one day and it's going to be different. People are going to go, who are you?
Who are you? Where'd you go?
I know. Yeah, what's this person? Who's this person? But I've had this color for so long. It's just sort of like, oh. And I'm just, I'm appreciative of everybody who's, followed me for ages and such. But sometimes when I'm out and you're just grocery shopping and, you're just kind of sitting there like a baseball cap on or something. People
I was going to say, you have to pull a Marilyn.
I know. And they follow me around the store.
You pull a Marilyn. Well, it's noticeable. I had red hair at one time and my husband would say, I can spot you in the grocery store. And I went back to my own color and he's like, I can't find you anymore.
Yeah, man.
Whole point, buddy. But yeah, Michelle stands out. Hers is neon. It doesn't do it justice on camera. You have to see it in the sun.
Yeah. No, really
a lot of people duplicate it too. I've noticed that. Just saying. I see you, ladies. You won't get there. It's made just for her. So good luck with that.
That's true. It's made just for me. I've had a lot of people try. It's like, I don't know what she puts in it, man. That's all I know. It ends up on my head. That's all I know.
It's you, though. It's you. It's your signature.
Yeah.
People need to leave it alone.
Well, thank you, Heidi. Chat board just going. Enough about the hair. But anyway, ladies, welcome. It's nice to have fellow Canadian researchers on. So it's always a lot of fun. And you guys have got the Paracon, Paranormal Convention. Yeah, I'm going to put this up too, just so people can see it. Hold on. Give me a second. Been a day. Look at that. Somebody went and put it on automatic for me.
So cool. Gotta love the Raven. Yeah.
We are so excited for that. It's been like blood, sweat, and tears, I think, this whole year trying to put it together, but it's coming. It's coming together.
Yeah. You've got great speakers. So tell us who you've got coming in. I mean, we know we've got Laura Lee and Carrie Lynn, of course.
Oh, how nice.
They're very dear friends of mine. And Carrie Lynn and I have known each other for a million years. And Laura Lee and I, probably for the last handful of years. And they're also fellow hosts here on the network, guys. So
both great speakers.
On their podcast, both of them. We've been on Carrie Lynn's and Laura Lee's.
Yeah. They're both amazing speakers. That's good. The audience is going to love them. Yeah. The audience is going to love them.
So who else do we have? Like we'll touch on this again after the show because I want you guys to go through, ticket info and stuff like that. But just to break the ice, who else can people expect to see?
Well, we have a huge lineup of speakers. Actually, it's going to be all day from 9:30 to a.m. until about 7.
Wow.
So we have Shane Pittman from 28 Days Haunted on Netflix,
and the Hoyser Files,
and also the Hoyser Files. So he's awesome, and we're excited to have him there.
Right.
We have Chris Radowski. So he is like one of Canada's UFO experts.
Right.
He's coming from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and he'll be talking about all the UFOs that have been sighted in the Thunder Bay area,
including Kakabeka Falls.
Right.
And so he does like a study every year on compiles all the reports every year. So he does like an annual report.
Right.
So that's just really cool.
Right.
We have Jeff Bellinger coming. So of course, Jeff Bellinger, he's fantastic. He's going to be doing our VIP panelist Q&A on Friday night.
Yeah,
excellent.
He's the host, and he's doing a presentation on Saturday, our main event.
Beyond the Haunting ladies are coming.
Yeah, so they have a show called History's Most Haunted on Haunt TV and also T&E Canada, I believe.
Right.
So they're two sisters who are psychic mediums, and they travel all around North America doing investigations. So that's going to be amazing. So they're coming from BC, which is great.
Right.
Wow,
And then
nice.
Yep, and then we have Six Nations.
I have to ask, what is that? What is that noise I'm hearing? Is that you guys?
Is there a noise? I'm not hearing anything.
It's
I'm
like
not-
a big whistle. It's Amelia. Is that you? Okay.
No, I just turned it back
I
on.
thought New Orleans is under hurricane warning. I'm like, oh,
Oh my
No,
god!
but I turned it on mute and turned it back on.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know what it was.
I just don't know.
Do
Okay.
you still hear it? I don't hear anything.
No.
No, now it's
No.
gone. It was like people asking, like, what is?
Oh shoot!
It
Okay.
sounded like a jet engine.
Sure did.
Oh, geez.
So-
Oh my god!
All right. So back to you guys.
And last but not least, we have Snipes coming, which stands for
Six Nations Investigating Paranormal Encounters. So they're an indigenous group that have
Nice.
a TV show on APTN
Very
in Canada.
nice. Yes.
And so they're going to be giving an indigenous perspective on paranormal investigating.
See, I love that.
Me
Yeah.
too.
I do. I
Yeah.
totally love that. It's very difficult. You know, I have searched even high and low to find. Aside from D McCauley is out your way, and D was great. He came on the show a couple times, really early days, you know, and gave us great perspectives. But just trying to get somebody even to talk about folklore and such has just been, you know, yes, I'm putting it out there. Anybody,
Yeah. They're going to
right?
be talking about like blood memory, which will be really interesting from their perspective. There's 4 of them coming, so they'll also be on our panel on Friday night.
Oh,
Oh,
very
wow.
nice.
We
Very
need to,
nice.
We need to book them.
I know. Look at the
Just
list if we have. No, I really love it when we can get Canadian content, because we just don't get enough of it. I mean, we have people from all over the world, very humble, very grateful. You know, we learn as much as, you know, as the listeners do. I mean, some of it's just fascinating, but it's just, we just don't get a whole lot of Canadian content.
Yeah, and most of our speakers are from Canada. We only have, I think, just 2. So Jeff and Shane would be the
You can't-
Americans, and
Just smack
everybody
it
else.
around. Just hit it. Do
Whistling.
something.
Whistling again? Is it
No.
me?
Oh,
Oh no!
no. Okay, so it's not Amelia then. Okay, I'm just going to mute you guys for a sec.
Okay.
It's you guys.
Oh no!
Our house is humming.
Oh,
It could be what your
Yeah.
computer's sitting on. If it's sitting on a metal desk or something like that,
I don't know. Yeah, we're
just
getting
just the ventilation on the
Right.
computer will create that.
Oh, sitting on like a wood thing. Let's see if
Yeah, I
I-
don't know. Crazy.
This is not
Well,
good.
you guys figure that out. Sorry, Heidi. I don't know why
You
it
lift
shows
up.
that it's restricted. That doesn't make any sense. I
Is
don't
it-
know.
Is it still there?
It's a night, man. It's a night.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we're still getting a buzzing from you guys. Maybe
Hi,
okay,
maybe it's
maybe
just
try
YouTube.
to pop out and then come back in on the link.
Okay.
And just see. I don't. Yeah, because I don't know. It's just like it winds up every now and then. It
That's
sounds like a mothership.
Well,
what,
maybe
are
it
you,
is.
what are you not telling us?
It sounds like an old air conditioner.
Oh, weird. Okay. I'm gonna leave the studio then.
Yeah, and then and give it
Thank
another
you.
try. Sure. Okay.
Um,
I have absolutely no idea what that was.
I just want to say something since we have this minute, because I don't want to interrupt them when they're talking. I sent you a photo. I can't remember where it was, but it's somewhere in one of your boxes. Hasbro had put out a exorcist.
I saw them.
Kit.
Yeah, I responded.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you?
I
didn't
just put a
see.
big face on. 'em,
Oh
yeah.
my god, I didn't look, but I just thought I'd put it out there because there's a new one. It used to be Fisher Price in 2023.
Right.
It was out there, and now Hasbro has one. My first exorcist kit or play kit.
That's interesting.
It's going too far. I'm just saying, it's going too far.
There's a lot on there. That'll be good to talk about on
Halloween.
Q&A. Yeah. Well, no, we have one next week.
There you go.
We have open mic next week, and we'll have to address that. I know everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
I know.
I saw an old photo of a Fisher Price one after I found the Hasbro one, and I went to dig and see, is this real? Is it really happening? And the person who took the photo, this is always a giveaway, is when you see the store shelf in the background, that it's out there. Yeah, Ouija boards. Yeah, they've been around. They have a child one, pink or blue, which I don't know how that works with everything that's going on right now with inclusivity. But anyways, because
I know
spirits don't care.
He'd be 8 years old to summon a demon. Well, you can do that just by speaking bad Latin too.
You can do that really young. We don't know what they're saying with that gibberish,
I know.
For all we know, those kids have already got us set up.
Bad Latin. No. Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Does it sound okay?
Yeah.
So far, so good. Yeah, maybe it did the trick.
All right.
Oh no.
It's back.
No. So a plane is flying by right now.
No, it must be something else because we just opened that window.
I know, but right now there's a plane.
I can't hear the plane. I just hear the humming.
It winds up like a jet engine. It goes. It's just crazy. Yeah.
I think it's the. Are you on a laptop or a PC?
A laptop.
Do you have a fan around?
No.
Okay, the laptop, is it sitting on metal?
No, it's on wood.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe lift it just for a second if you can. Okay. Let's see if it's vibrating against the table.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. Is it there?
It's still making noise, so
yeah,
I don't know what
it is.
It could just be a connection.
Which is okay. It's when it does this wind up.
Yeah,
thing.
we can handle this.
Yeah, the vibrating.
Sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Just try to, like you do in your investigations, move everything out of the way first. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes it happens. My fan, I've, not realized that I have it directing the microphone sometimes, and Michelle will tell me because I can't hear it. I'm just enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
That's why I asked you, do you have a fan?
What is this crap? I can't even get rid of it. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I know. I don't know.
What a night. What is going on tonight that the four of us?
I don't know, but
we're all like, what's happening?
I don't know.
Something is going on today because all day today we've been seeing like shadows outside our house walking around.
We're going to need to meet in the middle of Ontario. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. There's, as we're getting into, of course, closer into the autumn where, things get a little bit more active, which will bring me to, the next stage of the show, provided we just don't get, sirened out. Humble beginnings. So what got you guys into the paranormal? Was it childhood experiences, or you just up and decided, let's just give this a whirl?
Well, I guess a little bit of both,
Yeah. So like when I was in my early 20s, it was like, let's give this a whirl. And then we did it for a couple of years, and then I just kind of like let it go, whatever.
Right.
And then about 5 years ago, my mom passed away.
Oh,
and then I started questioning. I'm like, where is she? Because I could feel her. I could smell her. I'm like, well, she's here. Can I talk to her? And then can I talk to this person and that person? And then we got hooked because, it's quite exciting.
Right.
Well, Mel hooked me, actually. So I did. So my grandmother had a house in Milton, Ontario, and it was sort of passed down generation to generation. And when I was a little girl, we used to sleep in the attic, like kind of creepy stairs going up, and then like a very small house, but like two beds in the attic type of thing. And I was always terrified up there. I always had this feeling. And my grandmother told me ghost stories of the house when I got a little bit older in my teens. And so she was saying that when they renovated the house, they actually found like all these World War I newspapers that were sort of bound for like Yeah, for like insulation. And she said that night she got slapped in the face and she thought it was grandpa. And
oh, he wouldn't hit her.
Smacks her. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then years and years pass.
Yeah.
And then I come home one day and I'm like, I'm going out ghost hunting tonight. And Gail's like, what? I'm going to meet these strangers in the cemetery after midnight. And she's like, oh. And then I went once, I came back the next day. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go do it again. And she's like, not without me, you're not. So,
Right.
so then she started filming and then that was it. It was like,
because it's not weird enough that you're going to a cemetery with strangers at midnight.
Yeah,
and she's like, okay, let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the strangers than the cemetery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then of course she comes back, so I guess it's safe to say, okay, I want in.
Yes.
We do not recommend this at home. This is a stunt.
Yeah. Well,
performed by professionals. So
I
please
think it's great, though.
at home.
I think it's great. We've had some people feel inspired, I guess, so many different ways. I've met more people though who have said, "No, I just saw it on TV and I wanted to give it a try." And I'm just like, it's such because it's just so not what you think when you watch it on television. It's such, such a different experience,
right? Like it's a lot of waiting and just sometimes you don't pick up anything at the time. And then when we roll back the film and we watch footage, we're like, wow, like there was stuff happening that we could not see and we could not hear.
You don't. It's always after the fact, but you need a lot of patience to just sit and sit and sit.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, and everybody goes to the cemetery.
We go to a few.
We do.
Right.
Many other places though, but yeah, a couple cemeteries we like a lot.
We're like drawn to,
Right. I dig cemeteries. For as long as I can remember, even as a preteen, hanging out with my friends in the cemetery, and even back. I mean, I'm really aging myself, but even back in the day, I was going to come up with one of those back in the day stories.
Yeah, but you didn't say one day, so it's okay.
Yeah, walked like 5 miles backwards in the snow. Yeah, uphill, but it was interesting because I remember back in the 70s, and I mean, I was young then, but somebody had an article had come up, I guess, in a magazine. I was at the doctor's office with my mother, and scientists had set up voice recorders and they dropped them in different parts of a cemetery to see if they could get any voices. And this to me was like before really like, any paranormal buzz. You didn't have many shows back then. You had some, but nothing like what we have today. And they had come back with voice recordings. And it's curious because some cemeteries will be haunted, but on an average, they're not, let's face it, if you had a choice when you die, why would you just stay where your body is when you have the ability to just venture around and go anywhere you want, hang with your family, even if you're grounded, because there are some spirits who try to jump back in, right? And it's obviously not a thing, but after a while, you would think that there would be, some kind of little light that would go off and say, well, I'm just going to go home.
Yeah. Right.
If
well,
anything,
what am I doing here?
Right. Why am I hanging here? Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
what's bringing me here? What's drawing me in?
Do you think it's the grieving that just draws them? Like people coming in to just sit and.
You know what? I don't know, but I also heard about this other guy on YouTube who goes to cemeteries and he cleans the gravestones.
Yeah, I love watching those. There's a few of them, right? You can just watch them for hours.
Oh, I know people who have done that.
Such a beautiful, beautiful thing to do.
And this fellow, he just like leaves his spirit box going, and you can hear them saying thank you, thanks, as he's cleaning the gravestone. So you kind of wonder, like maybe the spirit is always around us, no matter where we are.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes you feel guilty about not visiting relatives when you watch them, right? Because we believe in our field that they've moved on and they can be anywhere at any time. And then you watch this and it's like, if you really believe that they're there, it makes you wonder. But I wonder if it's just, they just notice that someone cares and they see it, they know it, and they visit.
Yeah, exactly.
I love watching him. It's
wonderful.
Especially when it's people whose families have just passed on.
Yeah.
Because they've just been there for so long.
Oh, they are. He's got those 1600 and say like all those old.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, a couple of comments. Yeah, that winding.
I was going to ask him what K-tel means. Hi, Wayne. In my humblest of opinions, I feel that a spirit would not haunt a place it may never have known, as opposed to a place where they spent a good chunk of their lives.
Yeah. And Cat.
Hi, Cat. I feel sometimes spirits don't know they can leave the graveyard. Their loved ones were there, and they think they have to stay there. I think they're all possible.
Yeah.
What do you ladies think? What have you noticed from your experience?
Well, I've heard that, like, when a relative dies and you go to their funeral, that you could see them there, right? Or they're present. They're like watching.
They're very present. Very sarcastic and very present. Yes.
Right.
I literally watched my. Sorry, go ahead. I'll tell you my story.
No, okay.
I thought you paused. That's dangerous around here.
That's true. More with me, not with Michelle. More with me.
No, this is bad. You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but like, I guess the question is, why wouldn't they, visit the cemetery?
And I kind of feel like they know where their plot is, and then they can kind of sense when somebody's there. Mm-hmm. And if you say, "Hi, I'm here to talk to you," then they kind of just can plunk there.
Right.
And then they can equally leave, and it's almost like a telephone station.
Right.
That's kind of how I think it goes. But who knows?
Yeah. And any various I'm sure there's various reasons depending on the individual, of course. We'll back up at the funeral home. It's always interesting. I think it also, if you come from a family with mediumship abilities, they know how to sort of work it. My grandmother passed away and stood next to her casket, and she was listening to what people were saying. And you could see her. She was just, when she kind of just get in there. And I remember my uncle behind me saying, "Is she actually listening? Like, what is she doing?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure she's listening to what people are saying about her." And, hopefully it was all good, because a couple of times she looked a bit disgruntled. We were just kind of like, "Oh, that did not go well." So.
Want to hear a funny? Oh, sorry. Are you done? See what I mean by pausing? No, seriously. I don't want to. Did I interrupt you?
No.
Okay.
I'm done.
This is funny, but sad. I mean, my mom had passed away and I was only 27. So, but the strange thing is my mother was gifted, and my gifts come from, well, we think it's her side. But anyways, someone walked in that really should not have been there at the viewing. And I knew that had she been there, she would have voiced it. Well, don't the flower, the roses that go on the casket, go flying when this person walks in. My dad just looks at me. I'm like, "I'll get them to put it back on." I'm just walking away. And I said, "I told you shouldn't have told them." It was just one of those, because I am a medium and I can see that. I was just like, "What are you doing?" But they can, if they have enough, because it takes a lot for them to communicate after they pass away. But she was near death for a long time that we didn't know about. And I wonder sometimes if having 1 foot out and 1 foot in makes you just a little bit stronger when you leave, because you're already learning. Pardon?
1 foot in, 1 foot out. So
I know.
Sometimes myself.
Yeah, but I mean, like people who are ill, right? I wonder if they have a little bit more understanding. And she basically knew she was passing, even though she was going into surgery, because she said goodbye to all of us and thanked the nurses for her care. But anyways, I can tell you every funeral I've gone to, I have always seen the deceased there.
Yeah.
Always. But again, I don't know if it has anything to do with culture or religion and beliefs, because they were all Catholic.
Investigate.
Pardon?
I do know.
They check out the
funeral homes. Yeah, I've had friends who have bought funeral homes and lived there.
Yeah.
I myself had a huge antique funeral collection.
Wow.
I still can't get past that, and we've been friends for years.
I got rid of a lot of it, but I have, carriage, like hearse panels put away, just beautiful ornate things and pulpits and church,
they are beautiful,
funeral carriages and things
antique
like that.
though.
So antique,
yeah, not a like a. Well, no, Wayne has a hearse.
No, that's gone.
Oh, okay.
We've had,
But he had one for a long time.
Odd.
No, I don't think so. I feel like it's like you say, you're finding your past within it.
I think you get to a point where you look at certain pieces and you feel like a caretaker. And when somebody says to you, there's a funeral home here that was the very first one in Toronto ever built from the 1800s. And they were closing up. They sold the building, and I went in and just bought a whole whack of like whatever they had, which was like quite a bit. So, I know.
So you can clear it, so it's okay.
I'm not even worried about that. I'm not even worried about that. That's the least of my worries. But, it just sort of, I think you look at yourself as a caretaker of things, a lot of things. And you guys probably get the same thing where people have said, this is a haunted object. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want it. My very first haunted object was a skull.
I was just going to ask.
And now I have skulls, human skulls, and old though, like old. So, all documented and stuff, because you don't want to be like, I don't want to get arrested. So everything's documented.
People don't realize it's a thing.
Yeah. My oldest one is a medieval skull from the St. Elizabeth's flood of 1465.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you store those types of artifacts?
Behind glass.
Yeah.
There's a curio full of them.
Yeah. Well,
there's more than one
now, so I don't keep it out. It just sits in the studio and kind of sits in the corner with a lot of the taxidermy. A little taxidermy. He'll go, that's cute. It's like, yeah, that's cute. But it doesn't come up to where the larger pieces are, because I don't want to frighten them. But so have you guys gotten any haunted objects, or have you nothing like that?
Well, no, I mean, Mel's dad had a cursed boat. And
that's not good. Tell us more.
So he bought it, and the minute he bought it, everyone was like, there's something wrong with that boat. Yeah. So the first year...
Did he feel it?
No. The first year he took us out, and he hit a rock pile. Twice. And there was gas leaking out of the back, and oil, and it was like a mad dash, and we just made it in before everything was like not working anymore. Wow. He fixes it. We bring it out the next year, which was this year, and I had a feeling I needed to go to camp. I'm like, I don't know why I need to go to camp, but I need to go to camp. And so we get there, and my dad's like, you want to go fishing? I'm like, yeah, we could go fishing.
Sickie, I don't know. Do I?
I'll just stay on the dock, thanks.
We were out 10 minutes, and then there was a huge storm behind us. And I'm like, we got to go back inland. And so we're going in, and he wanted to put his boat somewhere else. And I'm like, no, you should just take it out of the lake. There's a big storm coming. And so he doesn't notice that he ran over a buoy, and the rope has gone around the propeller, and he puts the gas on, and it whips it 360. He flies, hits me, I catch him. I put him back in his chair. I'm like, drive the damn boat. So I'm like, okay. So we get back in, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's why I had to come to camp, because if I wasn't there, he would have got really hurt. And I'm like, no, that's not it. I'm like, you should come home with me. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, you should come home. And he's like, no. So the next day,
we're driving home, and we're like, that boat is cursed.
Right.
Like, we're going to smudge it when it comes back into town.
We're going to clean it.
We're going to clean it out, make it all nice.
Yeah. And so the next day at about 1 o'clock, I'm like, something's wrong. I'm like, something's really wrong. And I was anxious for 4 hours, and then I'm finally like, I'm going to camp again. So I go to get my shoes on, and the phone rings. My dad's like, I'm okay, but... And I'm like, oh my God, my heart just sunk. The boat pretty much exploded.
On his way home.
How does it pretty much explode?
Well, his
truck's...
what's that thing? Cruise control got stuck.
Oh.
And it wouldn't let go. And so he went into the ditch, and the boat went into the ditch. And then the boat flew off of the trailer and went through the air and landed in the middle of the highway and
smashed.
Oh,
yeah.
Did anyone get hurt?
He was not hurt at all. Nothing,
good.
nothing at all wrong with him.
No.
Wow. Luckily.
He did take a piece of that boat and was like, would you like this piece of boat? I was like, no, I don't.
And he's like, well, burn it in the fire. I'm like, not even. I'm like, it's going in the garbage can and it's going out.
Burn it, baby. Burn it. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you notice any change in his personality when he used it? Or is just the feeling of the boat?
It was the boat.
Well, like when we were coming in that time when there was the big like storm, it was almost like I thought he was gonna crash. Like he was like, I was like, where are you going? Like he was coming in so fast. Like it was almost like he was a little bit off.
After the rock cut, he was actually, I think, scared to drive the boat.
Scared to drive it, really. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Did you know the history of it? Did he buy it secondhand?
He bought it secondhand.
Oh, so you don't.
Are
know
we
it.
sure it's second and not third or fourth?
Oh, I have been.
And then he was like gonna take the motor out and sell it again. I'm like, you're gonna pass the curse on? I'm like, no, you're not.
Salt. We're gonna be Sam and Dean. Salt.
The boat is done. Yeah. Salt circle.
Yeah,
Park
I'm
it in the
with you.
parking
I'm
lot.
with you on that. That boat sounds like something happened and stayed with it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he just called me this afternoon and he's like, you want to go see a boat tomorrow? I'm
Just
like,
say,
yes.
You did
Tell
not
him it's
say
going to
that
snow
to
soon.
me.
You're up north.
Right. You did not just say that to me, did you?
Yeah.
So
we'll test it out, and if we get any feelings, we'll be like, this is not the boat for you.
Next summer.
Wow.
Next summer.
Wow. That is crazy. So I have been to Thunder Bay. I love Thunder Bay. And a long time ago, won't get into that because it was it's a lot of fun. I love Thunder Bay. We'll leave it right there. But checked out a place called the Zoo.
The zoo.
It was a bit of a bit of a
It's not a zoo
headbanger establishment. We'll leave it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows me now. I was a headbanger,
What
so
kind
it was a lot of fun. But
establishment?
I spent about a week there, and
Really?
it really is beautiful and lots of energy. There's a whole mix of stuff up there, and I think a lot of it has to do with maybe because you're just so far north. Lake Superior, which is an energy pool to start with, as many of as all the Great Lakes are really. But I remember being not too far from there, and somebody giving me a Bigfoot story up there, and you cannot help but drive up there in those remote areas and literally expect one to just that or a moose, because I had that encounter up there, up near Kenora. That was an experience. Anyway, but there's a lot of stuff up there. So do you guys primarily, do you get into any of the crypto stuff up there? Or have you had any encounters?
I'm scared.
Really? Yeah.
I'm scared of Bigfoot, actually. It's uncomfortable. We've seen UFOs. That was enough for me.
Yes.
I was like, don't come visit.
Right.
Well, I'm with you. You guys can stay at my house anytime. Seriously, I am with you on that one. If you want to see them, you go visit Michelle. Because they're always there.
You can see lots of things if you visit me.
Yeah.
But I would expect there would be a lot of UFO activity. I've had stories from people who do long distance truck driving, and there's a lot of Bigfoot stories up there. Of course, Dee McCauley didn't help with his Bigfoot stories either. Thank you for that.
So
but
there is a lot of Bigfoot stories, and also Dogman. We've heard stories.
Oh, is there Dogman up there too, huh?
In the golf course of all things.
In the golf course, there seems to be a portal. We've heard actually from a retired police officer telling his story about Dogman. But actually, I'm in engineering. That's sort of what I do for my day job. But one of the
portals. Okay.
one of the big projects in Northern Ontario, they actually have a division that collects Bigfoot sightings, and this is a mining company. So like they take it pretty serious up here, actually.
But they're very hush hush about it.
Yeah, very hush hush. But it's a thing. Like
they don't want to draw people in.
Yeah, you get that many sightings that the higher ups get involved. That's very, very interesting.
Like almost like Alaska.
Yes, we're pretty far up there.
No, I mean like the same thing, Alaskan Bigfoot, like the amount of sightings and evidence that they've collected sounds like, we won't say the area because we don't want to draw crazy people to it.
Yep. Yeah.
But here it's the big black cat sightings, and that the Ministry of Natural Resources get involved in, which is very surprising because there are these big giant black cats that are sighted everywhere from here down to the southern United States. But apparently up here, there's enough of them that they actually go in, they analyze, they've found bones, they have found, which is interesting for a cryptid because that they have found bones and feces and things like that. And they can, they've been able to actually document it. And I read an article about it at one point. It's just like, but I don't imagine you'd find anything like that about Bigfoot or with your local police detachment wanting to get in there and put it official,
Yeah.
Share Wayne's story. See if the ladies know anything about this.
What? Sorry.
Wayne's story.
All right, here we go. Oh, this one. I told Carrie Lynn this one, and we were both like, this is a story. You can go ahead and read it, and I'll.
It doesn't matter. Either or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, read it. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
A trucker friend of mine was on the way up to Thunder Bay and stopped at a truck stop gas station. The whole place was open with food on the grill, cars in the parking lot, but it was completely empty. Super strange. He booked it out of there. Yeah.
He went on. It was down the hill when you come down, or before you hit the Wawa Hill. There was a big truck stop there. So between the Wawa Hill and Sault Ste. Marie, basically somewhere in that stretch. And I think I actually might remember that place because I'm pretty sure I stopped there. It's a fair size establishment if it's the one I'm thinking of, because there aren't many there, at least not back then. And he went in and everything was still. The lights were on, like Wayne says, and the food on the grills, food on the plates, music was playing, cars in the parking lot. He went in and he actually called the police, and he said, "You need to get here because this is just not. This isn't cool. We don't know like what's going on here." He said he took a little bit of a walk to the sides to see if he could see anything and couldn't, and he just got in his truck and hightailed it out.
You have to remember too, buses stop there. You don't know if it was an alien abduction. You don't know if it's something. I mean, it's obviously supernatural, paranormal.
He never heard anything after that.
No, and not even a fire with the food still on the grill. That is odd as well.
Yeah.
So there's a little.
Don't forget to film it when you ladies investigate it, because Gail and Mel are already. I can see their heads.
I'm like, what am I doing this weekend?
What day can we go there? I want to see it on your YouTube channel. If you go,
is it still there?
It must be.
I would imagine it is, but I mean, this was a really long time ago. Like I would have gone through there. I'm an '80s kid, kind of. So yeah, so it was like in the '80s when I went through it, and I don't know when he went through it, if it was around the same time or but for me, I remember it, and just because I remember the layout of it, which just had a really big parking lot, big square jobber. If it's the same one, I can't guarantee it is, but I know there's not a lot in that stretch. It's it used to be at that time, a pretty barren stretch.
It still is.
You don't need.
But there's a lot of abandoned gas stations and hotels along that highway now.
Okay, and it could be, but it would have been a big enough outfit for, obviously restaurant as well, right?
Yeah. And you need those space.
Maybe long ones too.
Well, for trucks to pull up, they would be big. It would be
have to be a big parking lot. You don't need a building to still be there to investigate a haunting.
Exactly. We just need a location.
Yeah. Was it a
suggest you go
haunting
up
or
and down that strip.
was it an abduction? Are you sure you
Yeah.
want to go?
And
I
did
don't
they
know.
come back? Did they get sent back? So if you're listening and you were there that night, please contact theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com.
If we
I'll
still
let you know
talking to
all
the
about
guy, we
it.
would have got him to put the story. But when he said the story, I was kind of like, wow. People always feel compelled to just, I have a story. I'm like, right on.
Yes.
If
Yes,
the
it's
police,
interesting paranormal.
but if the police went there, there will still be a report. The unfortunate thing is we weren't digital then.
Right.
So it'll be on paper or microfiche if anyone still has that.
The library still does.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it might be
I
worth
would
it might be worth a road trip, and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know.
I gotta find out where
Carrie
it was
Lynn, if you're
for.
listening, you've got to hit up this place on your way up to Thunder
I'll
Bay.
meet Carrie Lynn there. We'll meet halfway.
Right. So I think it would be awesome. There's a lot in that stretch. I mean, I've spent time in Sault Ste. Marie. I've had a lot of friends there, and I frequented both sides of the border in the Soo. I always known so many people, and it's just the energy there is crazy. And I grew up with a friend whose grandparents owned a really big campsite right at the very top of Lake Superior. And, even the woods are creepy,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the whole area, right? Because it's the largest freshwater, lake in the world.
Yeah.
Freshwater place, right?
And there's plenty of amethyst mines.
There's
in
lots
the
of
area.
amethyst mines.
because that won't amp things up.
Wasn't the
sure.
Edmund Fitzgerald on Superior?
Yep.
Yes.
Well,
Farther south, though.
yeah, but still, it's November's the most dangerous time to be out on that lake.
Yeah, there's thousands of shipwrecks
Yeah, it's
in Lake
the
Superior.
ghost shipwreck.
How deep does that lake go? Does anyone know?
It's
Over
it's
1,000.
Lots. It's huge.
1,000.
It's deep as deep as deep. You don't know. I don't know, but it's very deep.
It's not Mariana's Trench, but it's
Darn deep.
well, obviously,
Right.
the ships are going through there. Yeah.
Right.
There is a ship that's sunk, and it was called the Bannock.
Yeah.
Bannock. And there is still a man down in the ship. And
I've heard of
because
this wreck.
it's so cold, he's not decomposing.
No.
And so scuba divers go down there and they see old Whitey going back and forth.
I've read this story. How functional would you be
it's
when
not
you came back up
saltwater.
from that dive? If you didn't expect it and you dive down and see that, don't tell me that doesn't mess you up for life after that.
It probably you'd never go again.
Michelle would try and take it home.
She's like, where is that one?
Maybe.
Let me help you.
Maybe.
I'd be with her right behind her. I'd be diving
I'll
for
rescue
that.
you. Come on.
Yeah,
No.
knowing that it's there wouldn't scare me. It's if you don't, like Michelle said, if you're taken off guard, because you don't associate
Startled.
somebody to still be in a sunken ship.
Right.
So, have anybody ever had any ghost tales from diving that wreck? Like, is he still there? Do you think?
He is there.
He still is there.
No, but I mean, like in spirit. Like, does he haunt it?
Oh, good
I
call.
don't know.
Be a curiosity, wouldn't it? Because unfinished business. I guess if you see it coming, like the crew of the Edmund Fitzgerald, you had everybody who was below deck. There, they're there. There's just because the thing's down. You just know they're there. So, if you know it's coming, it's one thing. But with that ship, they transmitted. We're holding our own, and that's it. So,
Right. How many are like, oh, I got to go to work today?
right?
Meanwhile,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really interesting.
Do you have any ghost? Do you get ghost ship sightings?
Wasn't there
Oh.
a story about the ghost ship sighting in Lake Superior? I thought there was.
there's so many stories and books on Lake Superior. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because
There
there's the story of Mott Island.
Yes. There's
Yes.
Yes. And
That
then
too. You want to tell the story?
Yeah. Tell the story.
Tell the story.
Share it up.
I don't know who sent them there. Some British guys sent this couple to Mott Island and said, you watch over this island. This is now my property. I'm going to go back to the land, get some food for you guys, and then bring it back to you within 2 weeks.
There was like mineral there, like iron or some
or
sort of like
something they were going to mine. And
Right.
so he left and never returned. And so they ate whatever they could, and then the man Charlie went crazy and almost killed his wife. And then he died. And then she was having thoughts of eating him. And then it was at that point when they finally came and saved her. And she went on to live 20 more years or something.
Oh, I'm glad she didn't take she didn't take a knife to her.
Wow.
She would have had trouble living with that.
She did not have that soup. But you know what? They did make a movie about it. It's called Angelique's Island.
I think so. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need to watch that.
That'd be so messed up.
How is it a film mention
again,
that
how
I've never
functional
seen?
are you after something like that? You know,
Right. So
that's scary.
And kind of investigate that location.
Yes.
To get
yeah.
Not a haunted.
Well, haunted islands are fun, you know. But I think we did a story on haunted case files about it when we did in the Muskokas, which was a haunted island. Yeah, it was crazy.
Not so much fun when you're left there overnight.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun. It's tough.
That overnight business that gets a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Well, knowing that you can't leave the place. Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally
like a horror film.
You're totally by yourself. So you were there until they come for you the next day, and you're sort of like, okay.
What do you do for
and it was haunted
next?
as hell. I mean, we knew people who, I guess they had just put a golf course up there. It was in the process of being done, and cottages were in the process of being built and such. So we had a client who had, they were the builders of these cottages, and there were all kinds of problems. But it was owned by an indigenous, native family, and the cemetery was still there, and it was hidden. Only the owners of the island knew where it was, and there's a big old beautiful lodge, and it's unbelievable. Like, you step back in the 20s, Marilyn Monroe had been there, the Roosevelts had been there. They used to do pony racing there. Lots of history. And haunted as bleep. So it was good. It was a good night. It was a good night. So
getting stuck at the Stanley Hotel.
But
only at least you can run from the Stanley Hotel. There you have a
circles.
long swim back.
Circles. They still got to catch you. Right. So
I got all my steps in.
Still got to catch you. Leave the stilettos at home. That's all
God. No, they give you traction.
They go do a bit of damage, that's for sure. Just flinging them.
Lethal weapon.
But, yeah. So you guys have traveled abroad. You've sent some pictures. So tell us about Chillingham Castle.
Chillingham,
amazing.
The most haunted castle in England.
Yes.
In the world, I think, actually.
Well, the shirt says England.
Okay.
And we were like, okay, so when I was like 20, I used to watch like, what was the show called? I don't know. World's Scariest Places on Earth.
Yeah, I love that. It was one of my favorite with Linda Blair and the creepy lady from Poltergeist talking.
Yes, and so I would watch it in my house, and my mom would watch it in her house.
Right.
And Chillingham was our favorite, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna go to Chillingham, and I was terrified to fly, and I was like, Gail, if you'll take me to Chillingham, I will fly. And so that was the agreement, and we went to Chillingham.
Right.
4 days. It started the first night. I'm like, if there's any spirits here, you're not allowed in this apartment. You gotta go. See you in the morning. I go we're there 5.
I'm like, don't bug me. I'm trying to sleep.
So we're there 5 minutes, and then there's a knock, and I'm like, oh, it's just the wind. But then there's a knock. It went on for like almost an hour.
Yeah.
I finally got out of bed. I opened the door of the apartment. They must have thought it was nuts. I'm like, you can come in. I said, but I'm sleeping. Slammed the door. I lie down. I'm upset. And then I'm listening for the knock. And there was none.
Silence.
Don't you love that?
Yes. And so then we got up, and it was like 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
And you can wander certain parts of Chillingham.
Right.
And so we went kind of near the dungeon, and there was this door that was swinging back and forth. And I'm like, oh, it's the wind. And then I'm like, I could feel it. I'm like, that's not the wind, actually.
We're inside, actually.
Yeah. And so it stops straight. And I'm like, if you're here, can you open the door for me? The door opens 45 degrees abruptly and then slams shut, but it should keep going because it's a swinging door. And it's not. It just stopped. And I'm like, okay. there's that.
Right.
And then Gail's working, and I don't know why she was working, but she was working. And I was in the bedroom with the camera, and I'm just fooling around. And I'm like, if you're here, can you show yourself to me? A ball of light comes through the window at me, bounces off the walls, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I see it go past me and into the other room and sets off the REM pod. And Gail's like, the equipment's going off. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. So then we find out that the room that we were staying in, it was called the gray apartment. And next door was the pink apartment. And in between was like sort of a very thick wall. And nobody can stay in the pink room, but they rent out the gray apartment. And so we were talking to the maintenance man, like the next day, I think it was. And he's like, and we were telling him about the knocks. And he's like, well, in between those two apartments is a little hallway. And when the owner was renovating the castle, they found two skeletons in the wall. One it was an adult and one was a little boy. And whoever sleeps in the pink room sometimes sees that little boy all dressed in blue coming through the wall. And so that's probably the knocking that you heard was the little boy like knocking, I'm here, you know. So that was pretty fascinating.
It was. And then we went on the rest of our trip, but then Gail's like, I want to go back to Chillingham. I'm like, what? Because Gail doesn't like to sleep anywhere haunted. I'm like, you want to go back there? She's like, yes. So we look online and there was like a ghost tour that night. And we're like, okay, that's weird. And then there was a room available. It's booked months and months and months in advance. So we were like, we got to go.
So you were just meant to be there.
Yeah. So we hop and we go back in the car and we go on this ghost tour. And then you want to tell them what happened to you?
Yeah. So we went on the ghost tour and we were with a small group. And one of the ladies was like, I really would like a ghost to touch me. You know? We're like, okay, well, that's probably going to happen if you say that, right? So,
watch those invitations.
So we're in like the big long room with the big long table. It looks like really castle-y and stuff. And she's sitting at the head of the table and her boyfriend is kind of looking
far away,
like 10 feet away. And she's like, stop touching my hair. And she gets really mad at him. And he's like, I'm not even close to you. So she gets touched. And so I'm like, ooh, this is going to be a good night. So we go and we're at the end of the tour. And what happened in this castle, so originally they built this castle on like a pagan cave. And in 1066, they started to build one tower. And it was between like England and Scotland when they were fighting. So it was like a battle center and it was very close to the Scottish border. So they captured Scottish soldiers there in the castle. And over the years, they built 4 sort of pillars and where they would go in between under the caves, like in between these 4 pillars. And then when King Edward was coming to visit the castle, they decided to build walls in between those four pillars. So that's how that castle was built. So it was so old, like 1066 is very, very old. So anyways, during the battle, and I think it was in the 1400s, there was a torturer named John Sage, and he stayed in the king's area, and he tortured all the men and women and children that were there. So we were at the end of it was horrible, horrible things. And so we were at the end of the tour, and we were in the tea room where they have coffees and tea and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he kept saying John Sage.
He kept talking
over and over, and I'm like, he needs to stop that. That's all I could think about. I'm like, he needs to stop. Something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, but nobody wants to talk to him.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk to him.
We don't want to feel that.
No, and so we had come down from where he like tortured people, and there's like a stone kind of spiral staircase into the tea room. And he said, oh, see that fireplace there? Well, that's not a real fireplace. It's actually fake. And if you open the door, it leads downstairs. And that's where he actually did the torturing.
Oh, I was going to say that's super cool until you said that.
Yeah. And so the owner of the castle, Sir Humphrey Wakefield, who we got to meet, which was amazing. He's 87 and he's still really chipper. Anyway, he went down there when he first bought the castle, and he went down with his uncle and he closed it up, and he was like, nobody's ever going down there. Just do not go down. And so he was finishing that story. I was sitting closest to these stairs, and Mel was beside me, and the other guy, there was another fellow across from us, we heard this growl, but it was like a cat, sort of
a guttural
hiss, come down the stairs, hits me in the head.
Has heat.
My whole face got red hot, and it was actually hot
and hurt.
As soon as we kind of heard it, all of us shifted down the bench. And so it was like this huge energy push. And it was like nothing I've ever experienced. And it was really wild. And everyone sort of stopped the tour and was like, oh my gosh, like,
what's going on over there?
Like, what is happening? Because it was like really, really powerful feeling. So
that would be the place. That's for sure. A lot of history. I've been to something about, castles and medieval places. And I have to agree. I only stay in haunted places. No matter where in the world I travel, why wouldn't you? That's totally my thing. But it's not for everybody. I love the anticipation of maybe something happening. It's just
it's not usually Gail's thing either.
No.
Really?
And you know what? I'm like, I can't sleep here. I can't sleep here. And then I fall asleep like within 10 minutes. So.
I know you have good sleeps, and then I get really excited when I start hearing, like, I've had things like start walking around, or I'm not a fan though. When I was in Romania, I had something right in my ear go, Michelle, like this.
Oh.
We were in Brown, and I look at my teammate Melissa, who the joke is always a freight train could not wake up Melissa. So I assumed it was Melissa who did it to me, and I swing around and I'm like, Meow. And she's out cold. I mean, and this is 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, this is like the most inhumane time ever. And this is ungodly. And I'm looking around and just like,
wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, male voice. I was just kind of like, But
so where was that in Romania? Like, where did you stay with that experience?
Everywhere.
Everywhere haunted.
So I should go to Romania, is what you're saying.
We were there for 2.5, almost 3 weeks, and we just kind of went from one end of the country to the other, and like Audie, who's also team member, she goes, okay, what do you want to do? Bam, 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 bam. No matter where I travel, because we did Scotland and France and south of France and things like that. I just said bam, 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 and she had me on itinerary down to the last literally minute. She goes, you have exactly 2 hours to be at this place. Make it happen. And I'm like, but I'm having fun. You don't have time to have fun.
Yeah. You need someone with discipline to keep you.
Oh my gosh. I was just like pouty, and I couldn't just see everything I wanted to. But I did see everything I wanted to. I just wanted to see it longer. But but it was a lot of fun. I love to travel, but it's for the the excitement of everything, it's not just a haunting. For me, you look at a place like Chillingham, you're looking at just like, I love history and architecture. So I'd be there just looking at all the architecture, and sometimes something can just hit you in the face and you would probably be like, it's just, what was that? Like, it was the wind,
The guy who owns it, Sir Humphrey, is actually a antique collector.
Oh, so he's got cool
so it's all full of antiques everywhere and weird things, and you're like, okay, that's strange.
Weird things, my kind of guy, yeah.
With all like different torture devices and such.
Oh yeah, well, hey.
I was like, okay.
It's just like,
you.
Yeah, I love that though, because again, it's the history of it. Things like this are. I had a friend, somebody I'd filmed with. His name was Billy Jameson. And they had a show called Treasure Hunters, Treasure something. Anyway, when I went to film there, they had just acquired an entire torture chamber from Nuremberg Castle. Wow. And I know. And I don't think when we were filming, they said, well, we have something to show you. And I think they expected me to just go, oh. And I walked in and I went, oh, there's a playroom. But I'm looking at it from a, like, this is like historic, not because of what it was, but what it was historically, because you see some stuff, but to see something that is completely intact and took 5 years to bring in, and red tape like galore, because like, what are you going to do with this thing? You're going to turn into, like, you're going to be the next serial killer. What is this stuff? And it took a lot, but just fascinating. But you guys have pictures, so
Oh, I love show and tell.
do you? I mean, obviously, show the bigger, like the setback one first, and then okay, and you guys can describe that.
Those of you on audio, you might want to swing over to YouTube.
Here we go.
This the castle had just opened up for the day, and the guy Richard who opened the doors, he opened one and he opened the other, and I took a picture. There was nothing on the side of this chair, and then I took another picture, and then that thing is there. Is that thing?
So you went click click.
Yes,
as a person.
We were standing like there's outside the
castle because it wasn't open. Like it was just opening.
I'm prepping up the other picture. One sec. I'll put that up too. That is
like a man sitting there.
So did you show it to the owner at all? Like did or is anybody staff member?
Just leaving, actually.
And we didn't even know we captured it because I'm like, okay, snap, I gotta go, bye.
Wow. That's a really great capture.
Yeah, some people think it's a person looking this way. Other people think it's a lady with a bun in the back, and then there's her ear. Like
or a small man. Yeah.
Or Gollum. Yes, there's resemblance.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking for the straggly hairs though on the Gollum.
Are you? Yeah, because obviously you're looking at it from the back. Yes, like it's facing outward. Is that what?
Well, I'm not sure. So if you show the picture of the castle, that's where we were actually standing at the time. So
okay. Oh, so this was okay. Hold on.
That's all blowing up because we were like ready to leave, and I'm like, bye, Chillingham.
Oh no!
And then he left, and then it was like, I gotta go back to Chillingham. Look at this capture we got.
I'm gonna come back and grab that one. Hold on. Okay, this one here.
Yeah.
So
we're standing right outside the castle, and through the first set of doors that you see at the top of the stairs, it leads into the courtyard. And so the window down there, that's where we captured it. So
okay, which one? Sorry.
The little light that you can see that's blue in the middle.
In the middle.
Right here.
That's where the capture is.
So
right in here.
Yeah, he opened the first door and I took that picture. Then he opened the second door and then I opened the picture.
That's really wow. I wonder how many people took that type of photo and don't even know they have it.
Yeah.
What was strange, there's nobody there but us. Because it was like right on the dot when it was opening.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really fascinating. Wow. What a nice memory. So you pretty much went and got exactly what you went for.
That room that you're seeing with the window is where the big long table is, where the lady got her hair touched. So this is like the grand room, I guess they would call it.
Right, the great hall.
The great hall where they'd eat dinner and all that kind of stuff. That's
lots of activity. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Right.
Wow.
I think it must be a curiosity. I've had my hair touched more times than not, but I think more out of the fact is just like, what is this? Because when you're dealing with spirits that are way back, they wouldn't see something like that, like tattoos. You know, we had a manor house, and it was back from the, I would say 1875, I think. I should know this, but anyway, I'm blipping out. But it was a Scottish family, but tattoos were kind of like, what is that? Like Wayne would say, anytime somebody with tattoos came by, they would get touched because of the ink, and they'd be just fascinated with the imagery on the skin.
Right.
So you can imagine wild hair and tattoos and things like that would be a curiosity, or piercings maybe.
Yeah.
To a medieval spirit, they'd be just like,
Yeah.
When I do a piercing, it's downstairs in the other room.
By the fireplace.
Right. So.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
would love to go there.
Yeah.
There's lots of places. Mark says he hasn't been there yet, and he's in England. You're a champion for being up in England right now, Mark. I'm just saying.
Yes. Go now, Mark, and film it.
I know.
It's already breakfast.
I know. It's like 3:20 for him. My gosh. I know. Whenever we have, we have friends in England who sometimes chime in, I'm like, you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So, we're going to do a quick station sponsor ID.
Aw.
Yeah, I know. It's what
Really?
keeps us on the air.
But it never fails that this stupid mouse doesn't work when I need it to. It's like it's one of those things that just shuts off by itself. Yes, we will go. And I have this issue every bloody show.
All right.
Not kidding. All right, then. You are listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 107.7 FM radio, as well as on the Gulf Coast on 105.3 FM radio. We're live on the Roku TV, not on the Rumble, YouTube, X, and Facebook group pages. Listen to us on Alexa Prime and approximately 250 streaming platforms. No kidding. You can find us anywhere. Search United Public Radio and then The Outer Realm. Our guests in Pearl tonight, fellow Canadians, and we're so happy to have them here. Lucky Paranormal, Gail and Mel Willis are here tonight, and they are sharing with us a big event that's coming up October 4th to 6th, Lake Superior Paracon. And you can find tickets at lakesuperiorparacon.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yay. So if you're interested and you're up in the area, they have incredible speakers. You can check out the site, see who's going to be there and the vendors, and the tickets are selling fast because it's just around the corner. So if you're interested, please click on that link tonight. Not right now, after the show, or while you're listening to us. That's okay. Just don't turn us off. And get your tickets. From what I read, they're more than halfway sold. So please, if you're interested and you're in that area or you feel like taking a beautiful fall drive, this is the place to be, October 4th to 6th, Lake Superior Paracon. Now, shout outs or gratitude to Folgers Coffee, all the way from our first episode with UPRN. We thank you for your continued support with sponsoring our show, and nobody loves you more than we do. Thank you. Our fabulous banner and promo media is courtesy of Steve McGinnis, who is a horror illustrator, an incredible artist who not only does the horror genre, but also creates custom commissioned pieces, and you can find him on Facebook. Thank you, Steve. Our intro and outro is courtesy of Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, award-winning composer, vocalist, and musician. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. Stream him on any platform. Find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Justin. You know I love you. I'm always sharing your stuff. Lastly, are you watching this episode or are you listening to it? Regardless, smash that button, give us a like, subscribe, hit the notifications so that you never miss a show. Kindly share with your friends and family and help us grow on social media so we can continue bringing you the best in their fields. Thank you.
And we are back, and there are still problems with Facebook pages. So that is a Facebook thing. It is not an us thing. Just so you all
It's
know.
never us.
That's right. So anyway, so let's talk about private investigations. Just how haunted is Thunder Bay? So how is it?
In comparison, it's one of the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we have traveled. So we've been to like Minnesota, Michigan, Nevada, Illinois.
Mhm.
And the stuff that we've captured in Thunder Bay is like just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like mind-blowing things have happened to us, and we're just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And we've also like talked to a lot of people, and there's one particular street in Thunder Bay that we get a lot of stories about, which is interesting because they're like, oh, well, I had this haunted house. I grew up in a haunted house. And we're like, well, where is it in Thunder Bay? And they'd tell me the street. And then I would meet someone else and they'd say the same street, but it would be a different house. So it's like, there's a haunted street in Thunder Bay.
There is.
Oh, okay. What's the history behind it? Any idea?
I think there's been a few murders on that.
A few murders. It's close to a residential school.
Right.
Of course.
Oh,
Of course.
Yeah, so there's a lot of history and what what's been happening around there. So
that'll do it.
Yeah.
That in itself would do it, not counting anything else. So, interesting. We had one not far from here too, and it was the culprit. I guess the catalyst, and that just sort of spider webbed out. So, a lot of homes there were affected. And my gosh, I spent quite a bit of time in that area, probably for years, just within, a perimeter.
And it really goes right from the school all the way to the river.
Right.
It goes that direction.
Right. So clear the school, and then you probably clear the area.
Probably.
Yeah.
If you could, So, okay. So what is your protocol then? I'm calling you. I'm haunted badly. What are you going to do for me?
Nobody calls us for home investigations.
Really?
Well, we've had a few in the past that we've sort of shied away from, I think.
A lot of times they're like, come investigate, and then they're like, don't touch my ghost. I'm like, then why am I in your house?
I've heard of that. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
we went to one house and we investigated for hours and hours, and she was distraught. And I'm like, well, you can use sage and you can follow this protocol when we're gone, because you really need to keep it up, or else it's just coming back.
Right.
And within like a week, she's calling me again. I'm like, well, I can't help you if you're not going to help yourself.
Right.
So-
Right.
But they're like, well, I left my video camera. Like they had security everywhere, and they watched it 24/7. I'm like, okay, there's probably a mental health thing, and it's just that seems to be what happens.
I've had situations where spirits have been cleared, and I get a call and say, I want it back. I'm like, what? I can't do that. It's up to the spirit. What do you want from me? Like,
Wow.
I think, you just get so accustomed to it. I after a while, I just I didn't do really benign hauntings anymore. It's just because there was just so many people who didn't want to do the malevolent ones that it was easier to just refer people to people who just wanted to go in and have a nice experience. And maybe some people just want to communicate with their spirit people. You know what I mean? They don't want them gone, or they just want to have an understanding of who they are and how they can properly communicate with them and make sure they're not being tricked by something maybe more malevolent.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's a group in Thunder Bay that does deal with negative entities, and that's all they deal with.
Right.
And so I'm often like, you can call these people because they'll help you.
Yeah. Right. We don't want to do it. Yeah. I know.
Wow.
I used to get a lot of those.
Yeah. We did clear spirit at a cemetery. The spirit box, a guy named Steve kept coming through. And you could sense that Steve was upset and he did bad things. And we're kind of like, okay, Steve, go to the light. He's like, no, I'm going to go to hell. So we had a whole conversation. No, you're not going to go to
Salty thing. Yeah.
You know, he did bad things. And then a female voice comes through the spirit box and says, Steve, I'm in the back. And so we're waiting. And then we're like, Steve?
Oh, my.
I never heard from him again.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
that was one of our first experiences.
So have you ever gone into a place that was supposed to be benign and ended up being completely the opposite?
Dun, dun, dun.
Negative experiences.
Chillingham was negative. There's Ancaster.
Ancaster was whoopsie.
Ancaster was one. Is not someone's house though. It was like an old ruin. That
Ancaster, where? Ontario?
Where, Ontario? Or
they were talking about the Hermitage.
Yes, the Hermitage.
I've done that one many times. It's fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
It wasn't fun.
No.
Did you hear all the chanting and the drums down like in the off the ravines?
We had a male voice come through talking about the war, and he made the whole
we
plants moving, like the whole trees started to sway, and then he had like this awful cutting noise.
Because we were recording and we were joking around because we had just come from Gettysburg. And so we're like, hey, were you in the War of 1812?
I love Gettysburg. Yeah.
And so we're talking, and then we play it back, and we're like, are you from the War of 1812? And you can hear this guy go, I sure sure was. And I'm just like, we're all like,
oh did you bring back a hitchhiker?
not then. Another time I did. And then we hear him say, it's like heaven, doom. And that's when the wind just came and like almost blew us over. And we had a psychic friend, Kate, with us. And she's like, we need to leave now. I'm like, I'm out. We like ran out to the parking
Don't
lot.
worry, I'm listening.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity there. Even Aberfoyle Mill. I was there just for a business dinner, and there was tons going on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty tough because no one at that table, one person knew what I could do. So it was very uncomfortable because it's a business dinner. Not my business, my husband's.
There's
so
a lot
I'm
of
just like
hidden gems.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of hidden gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did go to Pentatanguishene, to the Carl Beck house.
I love it. I'm from Sudbury. So yes. So Penetang. I know it well.
Yeah. We're sleeping, and all of a sudden at 3:00 there's this giant noise, and I'm waking up. But as I'm waking up, I'm getting pulled out of the bed. I'm like, what the hell? And then we had like this influencer guy connection. We were doing it with him, and his girlfriend was freaking out. So I ran out there. I'm like, nothing happened. I'm like, I just moved in the bed.
Stop the process. It wasn't me. Right.
Nothing happened. And then the next morning I was like,
holy shit.
I got pulled out of the bed.
That's the worst feeling.
It's a big indigenous, like the Huron were really, really big in that area.
So then we're finished and we ran out. We didn't smudge. We didn't say
really?
We didn't do anything. We hop on a plane.
But maybe that was the only way they could communicate with you is by ripping out of that bed.
Probably. Maybe. But then we get on the plane and we haven't said goodbye to anybody. And we go and we had an investigation to do that night. And we're like, who's here with us? Carl.
Great.
Carl who? Beck? I'm like,
oh my God, it's a Beck house.
I'm like,
that explains it.
I'm like, you gotta go back.
That investigation is on YouTube.
It's like,
on their YouTube. Yeah, I watched it.
Go home. Wow. Yeah, that's the Beck house.
But
that's all you had to say was the Beck house. I'd be like, all right.
When you get pulled out by your feet, it's alarming. I think for a lot of people, I mean, for anyone really, but for a lot of people, it brings you back to, from what I understand with people, because that's how it is for me. So here I am, just assuming it's everyone. It brings me back to childhood horror films, that pulling, where you don't know if you're being pulled or if you moved yourself in your sleep. You just wake up startled and you can't breathe.
Yeah, and it was very like fluent. It was just like whoosh, there I went. It wasn't abrupt. It wasn't weird.
Then maybe it was, like I said, a really nice spirit just saying, hey, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Apparently a 12-year-old.
I'm pulling you out of your bed, but I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, but 12-year-old, that's why it wasn't abrupt.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't not like being touched. So it's like if I on average, let alone by something I can't see. So it's like, don't touch me ever.
I have a list of people I want to pull out of their beds when I die.
Oh my God.
And no one's going to get rid of me because I know all the tricks.
I was at an investigation and I had a team member who was very new for us at the time. And my hair went up like this. And I spun around like, Brian, I said, did you just touch my hair? I'm funky about my hair. He goes, oh, never touch your hair. So I was like, okay, so it's something else, which is worse.
That's an eerie feeling.
I know.
Hair is an eerie feeling. No matter if it's a human or a spirit, it feels weird.
Yeah.
It gives you
It can't seem to help it though, because of the color. I'm sure of it. It's just like.
Yeah, it must be. Sometimes I get like a little tickle on the top. I don't know if you ever felt that, like a little tingling.
Yes.
Do you think they see in color?
I don't know. Why not?
I don't know. I've never asked that question before in my life, and I've been doing this for how long? I'm just curious. They do describe things when you're asking them questions. Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Spirit kids always touch the bottom of my hair because it goes down almost to my waist.
Because they can reach it.
They pull it. That's when I always know it's kids because they come down. Yeah. That one, like I'm fine with. I think when it's up here, it's too much like in my personal space. It's just, you got your zone.
Like, you just don't know what
Stay out of my zone.
Children are usually for comfort and help, but when it's an adult spirit, you just don't know what you're going to get.
I don't know. Some of them like to pinch.
Yeah.
Some of them like to, poke you.
Yeah.
Don't poke me. I hate that shit. Don't poke me.
I hate being pinched. That pisses me off.
I'm ticklish as heck, so
nice. No.
We'll go into the next dimension if you try that too many times.
I startle easy. I like to be warned before they move something.
Yeah.
Because I will jump out of my pants. Like I'm just saying. Like, there's not much I'm afraid of, spiders and snakes, but I mean there's not much I'm afraid of, but you could startle me so easily. That's why I could never do what the two of you do, because there is a lot of those situations where you're like, right?
Well, sometimes, because I'm usually the one just filming, so I almost feel like I'm removed from the situation because I'm always just looking at the little screen.
You're giggling.
Yeah, I'm like,
you see the camera going like this?
I see her laughing. You can hear her too.
Yeah, and then sometimes if I get frightened, she's like, go back in there to get the shot.
Why are you running?
What did you feel? Why are you getting off the couch? I'm like, oh my gosh.
But don't you love it though? Like you just kind of get tossed back into the wolf den. Just get back in there and do it again.
And I'm more than willing to go. I'm like,
yeah. Let's see if we can recreate that. So how are you guys then with just sitting in a dark place by yourself?
I'm fine.
Yeah, being like a trigger object, like you have to sit there by yourself and do a voice recording and being there alone and waiting to be touched. And
it's very rare that we actually do that.
I wouldn't do that. I don't think I would.
I think it's good that you're both different because you balance each other out. If there's something that might be dangerous or you need to push a little bit more to venture in, that's a good balance.
Yeah, we definitely are opposites.
In some ways. Other ways, we're like the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. But you know what? I think a good spirit, good person in life, good person in the afterlife, they tend to be very respectful. I think spirits tend to go out of their way to try to get your attention. They don't always realize you can't see them. Sometimes you just have to say, you're dead. I can't see you. The family can't see you. I've worked with families where it's just like, okay, for example, Harold here likes to sit in his chair every day between 2 and 3 and read or just be left the heck alone. Then the kids come in here, run circles around it. He can't stand it. Can you leave the room alone between 2 and 3 every day?
No.
The family eventually says, okay, we can let Harold have the room from 2 to 3 every day. And the haunting stops completely.
Right.
He just needs that control.
Well, he just wants the consideration, I think.
This is my home.
Yes, and he doesn't mind sharing it, but he had a routine in life and wants to keep up with his routine. And then you've got these little people running around and just wreaking havoc in the room, and Harold's just losing his mind again. So, I could see how, spirits would get very, very frustrated that it's not a malevolent thing more as much as a frustration thing.
Afternoon nap.
I could see that.
I'd be ornery in the afterlife if I wanted to nap and I had little people running around. Unless it was my little prince.
I was just going to say, you got that going on now.
Little prince would be okay.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I see, for me, I would want to ask him if he needed any help to move on or why he was there. Make sure he's not stuck.
So this is another question. That's a good. We tend to do this when we meet people who are in the field. What are your thoughts on? Again, it's tough on spirits who are stuck. Do you feel they should be moved on? Because some places make they make their living at a haunted location. To each his own. You don't have a whole lot of. It's your place, right? But do you feel that spirits who are stuck should be given the choice?
I think they should have a choice.
If they have a choice, yeah. I wouldn't do it just for the sake of doing it. I think that we would sort of try to communicate on whether or not they would like to move on, if they need help. moving on.
Yeah.
But if they're happy and fine and content with where they are and what they're doing,
and that's what they want,
to do, I'm not going to facilitate moving on if it's not what's needed.
Right. There's another group that I know, and they went to a place in Minnesota, and they have to sign a contract saying they will not move on the spirits. But
I'd be sued after that because I'd move them all on.
And then the spirits
I'd be sued. That's not our place to do, right? I think what Michelle was going to say, I already know what she was going to say, so I'll just let you say it.
No, I believe that once I've many times throughout the past have moved spirits on and just said you can come back if you want. I think once you go over once and you realize what I can come back. Sometimes they don't want to, they realize, but sometimes if they really love a place, they just come back in visitation, but they leave all that baggage behind, they come back and they really are happy to be there. They don't have those hang-ups.
Less vulnerable to the dark side too.
Right.
Sorry?
They're not vulnerable to the dark side if they've ascended, like where they've crossed or however you want to put it. Yeah. And if they believe in a life after life, we learned that one last week, a life after life. They may want to see their family and their pets. And, it's important to explain to them because a lot of people who pass away who are not in this field, and I learned that from Michelle, is they don't comprehend that there's you can go and come back. They only understand that if they did something wrong, they're conditioned to believe that it's not going to be light. It's going to be dark. So it all depends. I can tell you honestly, they would not want me there if they want to keep the spirits there. Yeah. I wouldn't agree to it.
All these people listening saying, do not let Amelia Pisano.
It's okay because Amelia Pisano doesn't go into investigation, so it's okay. It doesn't matter. And I'm a remote viewer, so there.
Sorry?
I was like, why don't you just ask the spirits to meet you on the sidewalk? You've left the property, you've invited them out, and you can do your thing. And you didn't break the contract, right?
Well, you know what? I mean, who are we to say who stays, who goes?
Right.
I mean, if it was a child, I would hate to think that I had a child, let's say, who passed away very young and who was stuck and people were, engaging and not assisting. I look at them just as people without bodies, so it's very difficult.
I learned the hard way. Yeah, I had a spirit for a long time. And Michelle goes, "Why is she still there?" I go, she's my friend.
But she wreaked all kinds of havoc, bugged the dog. I'm like,
she was, but it didn't happen till a lot. I never really noticed her until I got married and moved. I never noticed her because she came with a chair kind of thing. And I didn't notice because it was at my mom's house and you're in and out. I mean, you're not really home when you're that age, right? And then when I moved here, it was so quiet and getting used to the noises. It was like, hey, hold on a second.
Dog's losing
and
its
possessive.
mind.
Well, before the dog, she was very possessive. And it kind of scared me when I had my daughter. So yeah, there was a long story to that because she was around a long time. I met Michelle in 2018. I got that chair when I was about 17, 18 years old. So yeah, that's a long time.
Haunted items, spirits that get attached to
probably
things.
88. 89,
spirits that want to know, where's the key to the safe? Where's the will? So what's the funkiest?
Why are you sitting in my chair?
Why are you in my chair? Why
are you in my chair?
I have like 20 chairs.
Take the dog off the chair.
That's out of my chair.
He was always in it. I think he did it to spite her. But
what's the funkiest thing you guys have come across at investigation? Like, what's the funniest thing or funkiest where you kind of been left going? What's that?
Just recently, actually, we were at a local pub that used to
Pubs are fun.
Yes, it's a pinball pub.
There's always something else to do if there's no spirits.
Yes,
other spirits.
Before that, it was a Christmas store.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Before that, it was the house of George and Sarah Koo. and their children.
Okay.
They were very religious, and he was a Mason.
Right.
So we decided that we were going to bring a Bible as a trigger object and a rosary.
Right.
We set it up on the cement bar.
Yeah.
And 3 hours in, it sat there, nothing happened. We decided we're going to go to the bar and have coffee because it's like 3 a.m. And so I'm sitting there because I don't drink coffee. And one of the members goes behind and says, "Oh, this is good coffee." As she says that, I see this cat ball kind of levitate off of the Bible and then just drop and then turns on and drop, bang. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, did I really see that? Did that really happen? It was amazing.
Wow.
And that
So-
video also
happened
on
there?
YouTube.
What did it do?
What is the bar and the noise?
Oh yeah, well yeah, we heard we were investigating upstairs and we heard a very loud bang that happened downstairs. We went to investigate. There's nothing that moved, but when we had a camera there and it had moved the camera, and we just could not debunk that at all.
It was so loud that it vibrated the table.
You ladies need to promise me, Gail and Mel, you'll look up the Far Side Lounge in Colorado. It's been on television. I think if you ever make it to the States, the two of you would love this bar. It is completely active and right in your face. Active. It's an old Colorado city. So
And what is the bar called again?
Far Side Lounge.
Far Side Lounge.
I did a show long time ago with them because the person that I work with for in cold cases and stuff like that used to frequent that bar, and I won't give out your name. But, yeah. So anyways, we had them on the show, and they were the experiences they had. You would love it. Like glasses moving right in front of you while you're there in this pool. They don't wait. They don't care what time of day it is, right? Because we're talking about old cowboys kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's so much footage on it. It's unbelievable.
Oh wow, I'd love to go to Colorado.
We like to travel.
We do. We love it.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about Colorado is that there's so many places you can go to within the state because it's so large and all that nature. You're going to be picking up a lot of stuff. Just be careful because they're open carry.
Things like that. Bigfoot.
They're open carry. It's unlike something, I can't say the word, but they're open carry. It's not something we can do in Canada. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rain.
Sadly, that's an issue.
Yeah. Wayne says, and what first I have to say, because I'm with Wayne, only 20 chairs. He says, are you serious? I'm going to say, who are you kidding? It's not me. We love Michelle. We love Michelle, but Michelle loves chairs.
Old chairs.
Old chairs, yeah.
I'm surrounded.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. I can't
on a
help it.
throne, so yeah.
Could be
she
worse.
is the queen of the dark side, so.
It could be worse.
Wayne says, and then there was the case of the demon face looking out of a TV that wasn't plugged in. It was in an old funeral home turned restaurant bar, and Michelle was there for that one. Sister Wives, Colorado.
We filmed ET Canada there, actually, at that time. And I brought my sister with me, who's extremely, I want nothing to do with this, but I really dig ET Canada. I will be a spare. I'm like, okay. So there was some of the crew, because we also had a camera crew there, and I was being interviewed by the ET Canada people, and I come in and I come back and everybody is like white and just frozen. And my sister is just like I don't know everybody else, but I know my sister. And she said, and I knew what was in the house. And she said, they had a big screen TV, it was unplugged. The whole place had been winterized. The heat wasn't on. There were no lights, nothing. I wanted it cold, middle of February. I said, don't touch anything.
Yeah.
It was a big old Edwardian mansion that was a funeral home for over 30 some odd years. And there's a long backstory with it. So anyway, I come out and she said to me, she said, something walked like it was in the television. It stopped. And it turned around and it looked at us like this. And she goes, the closest I could think of, it would be like like the Lord of the Rings type Gollum type, because and nobody would, like, everybody was just sort of frozen. But I believe my sister, because she was just like terrified. This friggin' thing better not follow me home. So it was interesting. It was probably one of the most interesting places. Used to call the house, used to call even my cell phone, which is hard to catch a signal, like that's something that's not a landline. And it would leave like messages, and I sent them off for analysis, and they just like came in at such a low octave. They're like, it's not human.
Wow.
And growlies.
I got hours of EVPs from that place.
Growlies.
You could just call. She would just call me and said, use your cordless, because it would hit the frequency on the cordless phone, and it would just, all this crazy stuff would come through. And
don't do it without Michelle if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, it was crazy. You got on the phone, she goes, you wouldn't believe it, but the whole floor just shook. Meanwhile, something was all growling. I'm like, I freaking believe it.
Yeah, you walk into a place like that, you better know what you're doing.
Yeah. I heard her one time going down the old servant stairs, and she goes, I have to catch the mail guy. I got to just drop this off. I'm going to put the phone down right here. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm on the other end. I don't know where you're putting down the phone, but that's okay. and all of a sudden, the dog started going. She had a couple of Chihuahuas and a big Doberman, and they were just losing their bloody mind. And I could feel something touch the phone, and it picked it up. And it's the first time anything's communicated with me that way. And it called me an F&C. And the best I could come up with was, you're such a potty mouth. That's the best I could freaking do in that circumstance. And I'm like, potty mouth? Seriously. Tough guy over here. Potty mouth. Anyway, and then it growled at me, and it went, I was just like, okay. Oh, and I heard her coming back up the stairs, and she goes, what was the commotion with the dogs? I'm like, never gonna believe it. It was just crazy. And then that thing started, like, must have had the signal or something after that, and it would just start calling. I'd pick up the phone and be all growling, and I'd be like, after a while I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. It was just repetitive, but it was interesting. I would go over, and her little granddaughter, who was like 3 at the time, would ask to be picked up, and I'd pick her up, and she'd point, and I'd say, okay, show me. And she would point, and she could see it all the time. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. Kids see everything. So that was a fun place.
That is a fun place.
Don't go without Michelle.
No, but do you know what was weird about it is that I found out that the last owner before these people had it used to own a really big place in the Muskokas. And he used to get drunk, and he'd hang out with my former husband's relatives, because they would all frequent there. All the celebrities would go to this place, right? And he would get drunk and tell people about, because he was a funeral director. He goes, oh yeah, my first wife's still in that house. Because apparently, like, there's a long story about bodies being left and not being buried and walled up, and it was crazy stuff. And honest to God, man, I spent the next year. Am I looking for a body? Well, she's still in that house because she disappeared.
Oh my God!
Never found her. I know, he did time at Kingston Penitentiary. I know.
Wow.
I can't say names, obviously, but weird how that connection was, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
So I know
Kingston's haunted.
I love think.
They use it to film Mayor of Kingstown, because it's actually written by a Canadian in collaboration with Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone and all those great shows, right? Yeah. So I can't remember what streaming service it's on, but it's worth watching. It's so well done, and some of it's filmed in Hamilton, and Toronto, and they film a lot in Detroit, and they film in Brantford, which could go on for days about Brantford. But anyways, yeah. So you see these familiar spots, and I can't remember his name. I think it's Hugh Dillon. He actually played on, my gosh, so many shows. Sons of Anarchy. He played on Yellowstone, and he was also on Flashpoint. which was the police drama, the SIU in Toronto, and they filmed in Toronto. So he wrote this story because he grew up in Kingston, and it used to be called Kingstown. It's a really cool show, but you have to like the cops and the gangs and all that stuff. It's that kind of show. Like and so a lot of action. If you like Flashpoint, you'll like this show.
The historical places are awesome because you can't just get in there unless you do a tours, but you get to see it on television. But for sure haunted. I mean, been to Kingston, the fort, I mean, everywhere. In fact, you know, we've got chairs that come from the Oddfellows Lodge that were made by prisoners in the early 30s of Kingston Penitentiary as part of the rehabilitation, because the warden and the guards were all Oddfellows, and they're one of a kind. One of them, it takes like 4 people to lift it.
Wow!
They're really old. They're just beautiful, but I mean, they didn't mess around. But the workmanship is amazing. Yeah. So little piece of history anyway, you know. But what I'm going to do now is put your picture back up. And chairs, Wayne.
Beautiful. Chairs.
So what is funny about
all right? I promise.
Just saying, it's been a while. He hasn't mentioned it.
Gosh, man, could be worse. I could collect I could collect spirits.
In Michelle's defense, she has got rid of a lot of them. So, and the couches.
Yeah, we had 10 of those. They were like 8 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah, about 300
on Saturday, pounds. We're doing the paranormal investigation at the Thunder Bay Museum.
Yes.
Which used to be the police station.
Yes.
Which has been extremely haunted for us every time we've been there. And there's chairs in the basement. And every time you put a K2 or REM pod, millimeter, whatever, they just go nuts in the basement on the chairs.
Yeah. Wow. Are they for sale?
No.
Wayne?
Sorry, I had to. I had to. So that's actually very cool that you can investigate it. Like the people within your community seem to be very open to having you guys come in and investigate. Sometimes, especially with establishments like that, you would think that they'd be like, they would not want the stigma of it.
Right. Yeah. I think they're starting to see like the value, I think, of being publicized.
Right.
You know, some people don't want to be known as a haunted location, but it does draw a certain type of crowd, I think, if your establishment is known as haunted.
Right. Yeah. I would agree with you. You know, just thinking though, like of more official, you know, type places, like we stopped just investigating one place because they didn't want the stigma after a while. Right. Even though they were non-for-profit, brought them in like, oh my God, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. Like I just stopped counting, but you know, like they really did well, and they needed the funding. Right. I think if you're non-for-profit, this would be a definite way of helping any establishment. But when you mentioned the police, I'd be kind of like, is it still a police station?
No, it's at the museum now.
Oh, it's the museum now. Okay.
Yes, and so there's 4 floors.
Okay.
And we've had experiences on every single floor in the museum.
Wow.
Like profound experiences. On the 3rd floor, we had a group. It's a paid event, and we're sitting in the music room, and nothing else happened. And Gail was annoyed, and she's like, "Can you at least play the piano if you're here?" And then you can hear banging on top of the piano.
Never.
And we're like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Can you do it again?" And it goes again, just a little louder. And then I'm like, "If you do it again, we'll clap." And it did it super loud, and we just like burst out and like clapping. Like
oh
crazy.
My gosh! Do you have any idea who it is? Like,
no.
Wow.
No, but it was captured on film. Yeah, I think it's on our TikTok.
Yeah, maybe
TikTok land.
Yeah. Wow.
As part of the Paracon, we have Carrie Lynn coming in to do the psychic medium at the museum. And the 2 ladies from BC, they're also psychic mediums. So we'll see what they think and
see if they can put some of the pieces together for us.
Yeah.
That'll be great if you have them all 3 at the same time.
Right.
The power. Yeah.
See, this is what Z-Sun's saying about that frequency, that whistling stuff that's been going on throughout the show that there doesn't seem to be an explanation for. He said,
picking up. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm so used to it. Hi, Z-Sun. That whistling frequency while picking up words like radio channels. So almost like a spirit box.
Wow.
And you said guys have been getting activity at the house.
In our house lately, yeah.
It started like a couple days ago. Outside the window, you could see like black legs go by. And today I was waiting for my client and I'm staring at the back door and I see a black figure walk by thinking it was my cousin. I'm like, why is she going around the house and not coming in the door? And so I waited and I waited. I was like, I'm not going out there. She didn't come for another 10 minutes.
It's getting to that time of year too.
Wow.
Where did you go before, just recently, before all of this activity? Did you do a location?
We did. What did we do? Fort William Historical Park.
Yeah, well, there you got to go backwards now.
Yeah. Wow.
Sounds like you brought something home.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because even your clients are seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is you know what to do.
No, Mark, it's everywhere. Yeah. I know. You're welcome.
Mark's probably thinking, oh my God, it's like 3:00 in the morning here. What's happening?
Worse now. Yeah.
Trooper. So, awesome.
Wow. Well, guys, thank you. So the website, where can they go to get tickets and so on? How can they find you? How can they everything?
Yep.
Promote.
Yep. So www.lakesuperiorparacon.com is where you can get all the information and all the ticket types and pricing. And you can also find us on Facebook. So we have Lake Superior Paranormal Convention on Facebook. We have Lucky Paranormal on Facebook. We have 2 different groups, one that's public and one is that private. So feel free to join both. And we just
and we have YouTube channel Lucky Paranormal where you can see all the videos that we've talked about tonight.
Good.
TikTok, Instagram.
Well, yeah, everywhere pretty much.
I'll find you on TikTok. I think I am. I gotta look and see
I
if I
have
am
the
following
websites, including the Paranormal Convention on the Outer Realm YouTube. So they can go right into the description and link to all of that right there. Yes. So so this way they can find it. And hopefully people will be able to make the trek up. Still early enough in the season. I don't think they're going to hit any inclement weather, but because it's up there.
Good till end of Halloween, end of October.
Yeah.
Then you might get snow.
I've been there in October. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful up there. Yeah, it's great. It's a great place to be. So
Okay, I'm following you. Lucky
changing color then.
Lucky_paranormal.
Yes.
That's the right one. Okay, got you. I know I've seen your videos because I repost a lot of the paranormals if I think they're really good. And I know I've seen them because I try to give support to anyone who's on TikTok because it's hard with the paranormal. But yeah, definitely. I don't really share TikTok. I go on there for fun.
Right, we go on for bird videos usually.
I'm
on there to watch the
on social media of any sort. So
no, I'm up all night. So if if I can't focus, I'll go on TikTok and watch the old Italian grandmas cooking with their grandkids. I love stuff. It it brings back memories of my mom. But
my schedule says no. So that's that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. Best of luck with the convention. This is number 1 for you guys, and I guess it's going to start being a yearly thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Let us know how it went. It was such a pleasure today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for sharing your stories and your cool pictures. And let us know how the convention turns out. Take lots of pictures. We'll check your Facebook pages.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night. Be safe.
Yeah. Well, guys, we have come to the end of another fantastic segment. Don't know what the freaky noise was. There doesn't seem to be any kind of explanation for it. They have tried to get off the air, come back on, but whatever it was, it stuck with them. Maybe it's just something that's followed through. I have no clue. All I know was definitely not from our end. And with that being said, enjoy. Sometimes maybe you pick up this that was a strange noise, but sometimes people go in and they'll find something else in the background. If you could just listen to the reruns, like we don't know. We've had people pick up crazy things on these shows, so anything is possible. But thank you all for tuning in. Big thank you to the ladies from Lucky Paranormal. Please check out Lake Superior Paranormal Convention if you can manage it. It's up there. They've got great guests. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Places to see and investigate. And I know, if I could do it, I would definitely do it. It's a great place to be. So big thank you to Folgers Coffee, Justin Snickers, Steve McGinnis. We appreciate you all so very much. Tomorrow night's going to be a lot of fun because we welcome back our dear friend, special guest, Michael Carter. You all know him from Ancient Aliens. And it's going to be really laid back. He asked if he could sort of do an open mic night type of thing with us, as concentrating on areas of current events such as UFOs and disclosures and just different types of stories along those lines that are current. So there's stuff. I don't know what he's going to have for us, but I'm definitely going to make sure that we'll throw in a couple, and of course we can keep up with anything. But he's just an amazing guest, an amazing talker, and I have no doubt he's just going to wow us all with his, with whatever conversation he chooses for us. But laid back, open night. He wants to interact with the chat room. So please make sure that you are here. Get your questions ready, and let's have some fun. So we'll see you all tomorrow evening. Good night.